Yeah, maybe.
Very fresh.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second ever Chengu long-form video. My name is AWESOMEE, you can call me Chengu, and I'm going to be a freshman in high school next year. I made this channel to talk about the very big things in my life right now, and just before freshman year, I had the first very big hit of high school. It was a very fun activity that we did. I learned a lot doing it, and judging by the video, you know that it's called Summer Band! Woo. Yeah. It's been a really fun experience for me so far as a freshman alto sax. It's been amazing socially for making friends, technically for making music, and physically for learning how to march basically from scratch, which trains the legs, you know. But to get the full context, let me take it back a few months and begin with the start of summer. Bear with me on this one, it's a bit of a long journey, but I promise you, it's a wild ride and it's fun. So, let's begin! Summer began with movement camps, or intro to marching classes, that basically took place after school in the last 2 weeks of my 8th grade year. The first one was on April 23rd, which, does that really count on the start of summer? I don't know, but I mean, as for what we did, we just worked on marching basics, and I learned basic terminology since we didn't bring our instruments. Everybody was super chill, and I even saw some people who I knew back in 7th grade, and I also got to meet some new people as well. As for the marching techniques we learned, we started with points of alignment, which are basically the parts of your body that need to stay perfectly level when you're marching. Basic terminology like the count-off, and concluded by learning how to march forward in a straight leg roll step, which is a technique used to minimize upper body movement and really separate the performer, your upper body, from the athlete, your lower body. On May 7th, we had a slightly longer movement camp from what I remember. There we built on the forward roll step and learned how to do a stiletto exercise to build platform endurance, and did more terminology and even learned a little bit of marching backwards. We also learned the instrument positions for marching, which are set, which is like attention, which is like somewhat attention, and standby, which is like relaxed. On May 9th, however, which was a Saturday, we had registration. We came to the school, filled out a bunch of paperwork, and auditioned by performing some music we received about a month and a half ago, and along with 2 major skills. At my high school, there are 4 concert bands, which is what we were auditioning for. From most to least prestigious, they are the Wind Ensemble, Wind Symphony, Symphonic Band, and Concert Band. All 4 combined make up the marching band, and I got 4th chair in Wind Ensemble, which I was actually really happy about. There was a movement camp after auditions, but I couldn't go to that one, and there was one more movement camp on the 16th though, where after learning some more marching fundamentals, we started getting into how choreo worked and more precision when marching backwards. From the 26th to the 28th, we had our marching workshops, where I got to finally know this alto sax section leadership. We had 1 section leader, hi David, you'll see him later, and 2 section techs. Shoutouts to Jacob and Jimmy, you will also see them later. I took a few one-on-one marching lessons with them, and I was slowly getting the hang of it, but my 2 main problems were that I was kept continuing to bend my knees and struggling to maintain balance. But after those camps though, we had a bit of like a month-long break, so I mainly used that time to study for academic decathlon. I also began to do research into the marching arts, where I finally learned about DCI, or Drum Corps International, which is just peak marching event, except for the fact they don't have woodwinds, other than solos, but that doesn't stop them from sounding and looking crazy good. I put it on my bucket list to see a DCI show, in fact, before the next band camp took place, which I would do at DCI on July 16th. It was peak. I would highly recommend going to see a DCI show in person if you're going to march, and if you haven't already. Oh, and right before the DCI show, the merch came in, which is where I got a t-shirt, hat, and water jug. Not these. My water jug's holding on my phone right now, so, but yeah. Only 4 days after that, though, it was time for the... So July seemed a little different already right out of the box. I attended my first camp on Monday, July 20th, where we specifically went over our airflow and show music, and we sounded pretty good for our first day. The Woodlands had camp in the morning and brass in the afternoon, so it was alto saxes, low reeds, flutes, and clarinets in the auditorium. There were a lot more people there too, so attendance was more strict. I was supposed to have a tuner by then, by the way, and the only problem was when I ordered mine a few weeks before, they only delivered the microphone and not the actual tuner for some reason. So we had to file a complaint and get a refund, which took forever, but the techs understood, so thankfully I wasn't punished. So thanks, guys. I learned how to mark time and properly do count-offs that day, which meant I was beginning to learn how to march and play simultaneously, which is a very important skill for marching band. I also realized how loud you have to be, which made things a little more difficult, but I still managed. We did a lot of work on our breathing, and I bet my lung capacity grew at least 25% while I was there, so that helped a little. On Tuesday, July 21st, our section slowly grew as attendance increased by a few people, and we did more work on dynamics, air support, and step-outs throughout the day. During step-outs became much more difficult as we worked into different time signatures and had to keep our legs in check while playing, with a lot of multitasking involved. During a rep, for example, you have to make sure you breathe, step off in time, tongue notes as your steps land, pay attention to the drum majors, change volume, and play well. That's 6 things to worry about, and there's even more on the field, so yeah. We also started to get competitive. In the first act of our marching show, there's a saxophone solo that some of the saxes, including myself, were auditioning for. Now, I'm not allowed to leak the show music, so I won't play the solo, but it goes all the way up to an altissimo G, which sounds like... The 4 people auditioning were me, a sophomore I knew from 7th grade named Jacob, a sophomore who I just met named Mickey, and one of our drum majors who was the only one using a soprano sax. Speaking of said drum major, I got an interview with him just today on August 3rd during band camp, so let's get to that.
So I am with Larry. He is one of our drum majors for this season. Larry, what made you pick saxophone as an 8th grade?
Originally, I chose saxophone because it was the one instrument that caught my ear. You know, at the student drive where you try all the instruments, it was just like the one that I felt like, ooh, this one syncs with me. So that's why I chose the saxophone.
What made you become a drum major?
I became a drum major after being inspired by many of the greats like previous drum majors, Jacob Kubik, Luis Valles. They were just people who really set the tone in rehearsal, and they were just like second director besides our great director, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Opian. They're always there, and I look up to them for their leadership. So that's why I wanted to bring that to the North Garland band.
Interesting. What's your favorite part of the marching season?
My favorite part of marching season is definitely the competitions. You know, the competitions is always a great time, staying late and preparing our band for the overall competition and watching other bands as well. You know, it's really cool to see what other bands have to offer.
I see. Okay. What is your number one tip to stay in Texas heat?
Ooh, you see, Texas, we're on the big 3 digits, you know. To stay cold, is definitely drink a lot of water, hydrate every chance you get, and stay away from the sun, you know. Stay in the shade as much as you can.
Right. Anything else you want to say before we cut the camera?
One last message I would leave would be follow your dreams and work towards your goals, you know. Every percent you put in every day really gets you somewhere. So that's my last message.
All right, awesome. Right.
Big thanks to Larry for allowing me to get that interview with you. I really appreciate the insight, and it adds a lot to the video, so again, thanks a lot. But now let's get back into the video. Wednesday and Thursday both went similarly, with increasing focus on marking time, airflow, and the different aspects of our show, including our first few sectional breakouts that allowed us to collaborate on our stand tunes, which are basically max volume pep band pieces that we will play for football games. But Friday, however, was when things finally took off, and we decided to touch grass, or more like touch concrete, because you see, in the back of our high school, there's this thing called the grid. It's an outdoor parking lot where it's a grid of dots that represent a proper step size, which is 8 steps to cover 5 yards. And we had outdoor marching practice there from 8 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning in the high 80-degree Texas heat. But it was thankfully overcast, so we didn't have much heat, to be honest. That would actually hit us next week. But for now, we just stretched and reviewed marching basics for the entire time, and we had a lunch break from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. I went to Wingstop with a couple other Saxons since it was close by. Yeah, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. was our music block indoors, where we worked on stand tunes, show music, breathing, and a bunch of other technical stuff in both the auditorium and in sectionals, where each section went to a different room to practice something that wasn't clicking quite yet. On Monday, though, we had to arrive at 7:15 in the morning to do stretches, and rehearsal got pulled 30 minutes earlier to 7:30 in the morning. Throughout the week, we reviewed marching technique, going from basic step-offs to forward marching, backward marching, angled marching, and the sawtooth exercise, which involved all 3. Our lunch break was 30 minutes longer as well, starting at 11:30 a.m. and ending at 1 p.m. On Tuesday, we got pizza from Domino's, and on Wednesday, we got Wingstop again. During Wednesday's music block, we had tryouts for the solo, and I think I gave a solid 7 out of 10 performance, given that I was a freshman. I definitely didn't think I'd get the part, though. On Thursday and Friday, though, it was announced that we wouldn't have music blocks, only marching blocks. On Thursday, on Thursday, we went inside because UIL regulations prevented us from practicing outdoors in weather above 92 degrees. I started shooting takes of the field on Thursday, and I got a few more interviews done on Friday. And speaking of which, Thursday's music block came with the news of who received the alto sax solo part in the first movement of our show. I'd received the role of backup soloist, and the soloist himself was none other than a sophomore named Jacob Gallardo, who I had known since 7th grade, and I also got an interview with him during a practice on Friday, so let's get to that.
Okay. So I'm here with Jacob Gallardo. He is the soloist for the alto sax section in the first part of our marching show this year. Jacob, what made you join band as a 6th grader?
Well, both my siblings were in band, so I wanted to be like them, you know?
Okay. What made you choose saxophone?
I really liked the song Careless Whisper, and I wanted to play that instrument.
What is your number one tip to stay cool in the heat?
My number one tip is probably put ice in your jug and drink cold water.
What's your favorite part of the marching season?
My favorite part of marching season is probably football games.
Okay. Anything else you want to say before we cut the camera?
Don't give up marching. It's pretty fun.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good.
Our second guest that day was Jimmy Zacharias. He's one of our 2 alto sax section techs. Techs are second only to the section leader in teaching during music sectional blocks and also giving advice when marching outdoors. So let's get to his interview for more on that.
So I'm here with Jimmy Zacharias. He is one of the techs for the saxophone section. So Jimmy, what made you join band as a young little 6th grader?
My siblings were in band, but I wanted to join.
Okay. What made you choose saxophone?
They did look
Okay. What is your favorite part of the marching season?
March season, the competition. Like when we know the whole show, it's really fun to run it over and over, and hopefully win at some competition.
What made you go inside?
I just want to be in leadership.
Okay, that makes sense. Anything else you want to say before,
Who's your favorite dude?
Big thanks to Jacob and Jimmy for allowing me to include you guys' interviews. You guys are awesome. But anyway, other than those 2 interviews, Friday's marching block had one more interesting thing, in that our drill was released for a first movement. We weren't allowed to practice it until Saturday, and I can't spoil anything about it, but when you see it for the first time, and if I eventually post any headcams, it'll be a wild ride. You'll get the joke when you see the show for the first time. But anyway, Saturday, which is August 1st, marked our first drill day from 7:30 to 11:30 a.m., during which we learned the first parts of the drill for the first movement. We got to about 16 sets, or marching positions from what I remember, and we didn't use our instruments at all. It was a bit of a refresher to get something new for our stimulation in our brains, and we even had an entire Sunday afterward. I learned there would be a specific and that as the backup soloist, I would and if Jacob wasn't there, I can't reveal anything about the drill or the props, so I will stop there. But after Saturday, I got an interview with David, who is our section leader, so let's get to that.
So I'm here with David, who is our saxophone section leader. And drill instructor. So David,
Yeah.
what made you choose band in 6th grade?
What made me choose band in 6th grade? Honestly, it's because I really didn't find much to do. But then, since I liked music, just in general, I was like, you know what? Let me just try this out with band. And this is where I am right now.
What made you choose alto saxophone?
What you choose? Alto?
Yeah.
Funny reason. Pink Panther. Pink Panther. The song that goes with Pink Panther. I knew it was a saxophone, and I was like, I want to try and play that one day. Apparently it's on the tenor, but alto's alto. You gotta like alto.
Yeah, Jacob told me he wanted to play Careless Whisper, so yeah. Okay, so since you're section leader in DI, what made you choose that?
Honestly, it was mostly because I wanted to give out all my experience, just try to help with the experience that I've gained over the last 4 years, and the last 3 years basically, but my 4th year now, and just try to help the new people as much as I can, and maybe come back and see how they grow.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple more things. What's your number one tip for staying cool in the 90-degree weather?
90-degree weather. Tip staying cool. Make sure you bring your hat. Honestly, if you bring ice in your water, then you get an ice cube, put it in your hat, and just put your hat back on like normal. And obviously the ice will just keep melting away since it's so cold. You'll feel all the cold ice water drip down, and it'll just cool off your head.
Okay, so anything else you want to say before we proceed?
Do what you like. Put in the work, and the results will show how much dedication you have.
Once again, huge props to David for letting me include your interview. Thanks a lot, and thank you so much for the help marching over the past 2 weeks. You're the best section leader. But anyways, Monday was a half day, and we marched only for a little while before going back inside to mark our drill sets into our show music and work on drill indoors for a little bit. Marking drill sets was surprisingly difficult, but marking time and doing step outs to the drill was simple as we got through more reps. Props to Larry for leading us through that. But Tuesday was a day off. thankfully. And on Wednesday, we worked on the drill again. We were supported by one of the members of the Blue Coats team, you know, the drum corps that's literally dominating TCI rankings right now by like over a point. But on Thursday, we finally started to bridge the gap between drill and show music, where we performed the first 7 sets of our drill while playing. I think we did pretty well, and according to the upperclassmen, we're going pretty fast compared to our last few years, so that's great. But on Thursday, after practice ended at 11:30, since it was a half day, I finally got an interview with our second section tech, sophomore Jacob Kasana, who I knew in 7th grade. I kind of procrastinated on this one a bit, so let's just cut to it.
Hello, I am here with Jacob Kasana. He is our saxophone section tech. Jacob, what made you choose band as a 6th grader?
I just wanted a switch from orchestra, because I used to do orchestra in elementary, but it wasn't really my style, so I thought band would be better.
Yeah. Did that turn out to be true?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. What made you choose saxophone specifically?
I think what made me choose saxophone in 6th grade was what? I just thought it was a popular instrument, and I thought it would be cool to learn.
Okay. What made you become a section tech?
Become section tech. I don't know. I took after my next door neighbor because he was section tech last year, and I thought like it would be cool to like carry on what he was doing.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the marching season?
Favorite part of marching season would probably be the competitions and the football games.
What's your number one tip to stay cool in the Texas heat?
My number one tip is to just always try to get as much shade as you can during breaks and try to hydrate as much as you can.
Good points. Anything else you want to say before we cut the camera?
Make sure we're counting during repetitions.
Alright, awesome.
Huge thanks to Jacob for allowing me to get that interview with you. My bad for delaying it so much, but it made the video, so we're good. But okay, alright, we're nearing the end here. Friday was a big day for us, and that was because it was our first real pep rally, which was Raider Rush. It's our school's freshman orientation, and it was also the culmination of our stand tune work so far, because we played a bunch of different songs there. After a big, super complicated mix-up that I will address in a future video of my first 2 weeks in high school as a whole, coming out in October, I ended up in the gym stands along with the rest of the band at 2:45 in the afternoon, because I somehow miraculously avoided getting in trouble. After waiting for the freshmen to enter and passing a balloon around for a minute, we had a drumline cadence, and then we played a few songs, then our different cheer groups performed on the gym floor, and then we came back for a few other songs, including our alma mater and Fireball. In my opinion though, 10 out of 10 experience, absolute cinema, since the hype and overall great mood of everybody performing really just got the blood flowing up here, you know? Apparently it's even better at actual football games, so you're gonna have to stay tuned for part 2 of the series if you want to see what that was like. After Raider Rush though, we had one more Saturday of practice, and that was another drill day. It was a good rehearsal from 7:30 to 10:30, where we got through most of the show's opener and also played our instruments for a lot longer while you're marching. And afterward, though, for 30 minutes, our section leaders apparently had a surprise planned for us to end band camp on a high note. Yeah, no, that one didn't land. I'm sorry, bad pun. But anyway, the huge surprise was apparently a water balloon fight where all of the sections put into teams and pelted each other with balloons that they grabbed from crews. I think they were kind of sort of targeting freshmen because of the whole freshman initiation thing. I got absolutely drenched, and I left my last summer band rehearsal, ironically, shivering instead of burning. So, kind of poetic, I guess. And yeah, that was summer band. So, special thanks to our directors for building up such an awesome program, our leadership for helping the freshmen like me through learning how to march, and everybody in the band as a whole for creating such an awesome environment to be in. There's more to it than just music, and you've got to be in there to believe it. So, join band. Thanks to you guys for sitting there and watching me yap about band for that long, and I think that's it. So stay tuned for part 2, which comes out in December, and I will see you there. So later.